funeral directors have been proudly serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class, and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At J.W. Williams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcers for the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Miss Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of Mr. Ernest Colbert, Jr. of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Miss Jacqueline Denise Ford of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mother Annie Lee Williams Collins of Cordele, Georgia. Would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Mr. Ernest Colbert, Jr., age 44, of 2196 Warwick Araby Road, Cordele, Georgia, died Tuesday, June 14th, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The memorial service for Mr. Ernest Colbert, Jr., age 44, was held Wednesday, June 25th, at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Portico in Cordele, Georgia. His beloved uncle, the Reverend Leon Williams, officiated. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Miss Anastasia Armstrong, Mr. Tyrese Armstrong, both of Ocala, Florida, Mr. Maurice Waters of Cordele, Georgia. His loving and devoted sisters, Miss Katrina Smith of Beaufort, Georgia, Miss Tawana Baisden and her husband, Mr. Eddie Baisden, and Miss Roanna Shelton, both of Ellaville, Georgia. His beloved brothers, Mr. Willie Wimbush of Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. James Shelton and his wife, Mrs. Angela Shelton of Columbus, Georgia, Mr. Alvin Shelton and his wife, Mrs. Wanda Shelton of Casita, Georgia, Mr. Eric Shelton of Atlanta, Georgia, and Mr. Jamerman Colbert of Mississippi. A host of beloved aunts and uncles, many cousins, to include a special cousin, Mr. Michael Clark of Ellaville, Georgia. A host of other relatives and friends, to include Mr. Michael Record, Sr. of Beaufort, Georgia, survived Mr. Ernest Colbert, Jr., age 44, of 2196 Warwick Araby Road, Cordele, Georgia. Miss Jacqueline Denise Ford, age 55, of 301 West 24th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Tuesday, June 14th, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Jacqueline Denise Ford, age 55, was held Saturday, June 25th, at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Portico in Cordele, Georgia. Her beloved cousin, the Reverend William Gain Ford, officiated. The burial followed at the Hardshell Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted mother, Miss Rosa Louise Ford of Cordele, Georgia, her beloved and devoted son, Mr. Catavius K. Daniels of Cordele, Georgia, her beloved and caring companion, Mr. Charlie McKenzie of Cordele, Georgia, her devoted sisters, Miss Myra Elaine Mitchell of Cordele, Georgia, Miss Rashonda Sutton of Tifton, Georgia, Miss Tamika Burns and her husband, Mr. Lawrence Burns of Araby, Georgia, Miss Andrea Latrell Jackson and her husband, Mr. Calvin Jackson, Jr., and Miss Tanika S. Weldon, both of Tampa, Florida, Miss Chandra Wright of Cordele, Georgia, Miss Lou Avery Soto of Columbus, Georgia, and Mrs. Patricia Griffin of Vienna, Georgia. A beloved brother, Mr. Kelvin Bryant of Araby, Georgia. Her beloved aunts and uncles, Mrs. Mary Pounds of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Susie Lee Simmons, Miss Thelma Bivens, Mr. Jerome Bivens, Mrs. Devita L. Bivens, all of Albany, Georgia, Miss Diana Singleton and her husband, Mr. Alvin Singleton, the Reverend Carl Bivens, both of Vienna, Georgia, Miss Glennis Dyers and her husband, Mr. Jeff Dyers of Columbia, South Carolina, the Reverend Kenneth Bivens and his wife, Mrs. Connie Bivens of California. A host of beloved nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Jacqueline Denise Ford, age 55, of 301 West 24th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. Mother Annie Lee Williams Collins, age 80, of 707 South Joe Wright Drive, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, June 11th, at the Chris Regional Hospital in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mother Annie Lee Williams Collins, age 80, was held Saturday, June 25th, at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Portico in Cordele, Georgia. The Reverend Gregory Williams, pastor of the Emmanuel Baptist Church, officiated. The burial followed at the Sunnyside Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mr. Willie Collins, Jr., Miss Cherie Collins Lester, and Mr. Sarabian Collins Sr., all of Cordele, Georgia. Mr. Reginald Williams of Florida, 20 beloved grandchildren, 32 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, her loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Melvin Clark, Mrs. Eileen Payne, Mrs. Lily Hayes and her husband, Mr. Alonzo Hayes, Miss Lillian McCain, and Mrs. Annie Simmons and her husband, Elder Johnny Simmons, all of Cordele, Georgia. Mrs. Rachel McLean and her husband, Mr. William McLean of Orlando, Florida, Miss Bessie Cummings of Washington County, Georgia, and Mrs. Joanne Wooten and her husband, Elder Jeremiah Wooten of Warner Robins, Georgia. Our beloved brothers, Mr. Johnny Williams and his wife, Mrs. Cindy Williams of Albany, Georgia, and Mr. George Williams, Jr. of Atlanta, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mother Annie Lee Williams Collins, age 80, of 707 South Joe Wright Drive, Cordele, Georgia. Again, the family of Mr. Ernest Colbert Jr. of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Miss Jacqueline Denise Ford of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mother Annie Lee Williams Collins of Cordele, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you, is their prayer. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors serving Cordele and Vienna were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Mr. Joe Louis Nelson, better known as Joe Simon, age 73, of 221 Main Street, Warwick, Georgia, died Tuesday, June 21st, at his residence in Warwick, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted wife, Mrs. Florence Hamilton Nelson of Warwick, Georgia. His loving and devoted children, Mr. Michael J. Nelson and his wife, Mrs. Veronica Nelson of Cordele, Georgia. Miss Natrice M. Nelson and her companion, Mr. Sorrel Roots of Loganville, Georgia. 5 beloved grandchildren, his loving and devoted sisters, Mrs. Janice Gamble and her husband, Mr. Johnny B. Gamble, and Mrs. Glennis Jones, all of Warwick, Georgia. A beloved brother, Mr. Thomas Nelson of Warwick, Georgia. His beloved aunts and uncle, Mrs. Rosa Hamilton of Cordele, Georgia, Mrs. Clara Ray of Tampa, Florida, and Mr. Liz Nelson of New Jersey. A host of devoted nieces and nephews, a host of cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mr. Joe Louis Nelson, better known as Joe Simon, age 73, of 221 Main Street, Warwick, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Joe Louis Nelson, age 73, better known as Joe Simon, will be held Saturday, July 2nd at 10 a.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Portico in Cordele, Georgia, with the minister selected officiating. The burial will follow at Shepherd Memorial Garden in Sylvester, Georgia. The public walk-up visitation will be Friday, July 1st from 1 until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Mrs. Annie May Lundy Wilkerson, age 70, of 1417 Norris Street, Americus, Georgia, died Friday, June 24th, at the home of her beloved daughter in Savannah, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted daughters, Miss LaShonda Wickerson of Savannah, Georgia, and Miss Keisa Wickerson High of Warner Robins, Georgia. 4 beloved grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, her loving sisters and brothers, a host of devoted nieces and nephews, many cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mrs. Annie Mae Lundy Wickerson, age 70, of 1417 Norris Street, Americus, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Annie Mae Lundy Wickerson, age 70, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. Beloved retired educator, Mother Levy J. Rutland Wheeler, age 89, of 406 West 14th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, June 25th, at her residence in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mrs. Patricia Sutton and her husband, Mr. Percy Sutton of Killeen, Texas, and Mr. Michael Howell and his wife, Mrs. Felicia B. Howell of Mitchellville, Maryland. Her beloved sisters, Mrs. Johnny Mae Mitchell and her husband, Mr. Robert Mitchell of Bainbridge, Georgia, and Mrs. Carolyn Warren and her husband, Mr. Charles Warren of Massachusetts. A beloved brother, Mr. Abdul Malik Kasheed, and his wife, Mrs. Pauline Kasseed of Albany, Georgia. A host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Mother Levy J. Rutland Wheeler, age 89, of 406 West 14th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for beloved educator, retired Mother Levy J. Rutland Wheeler will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. Mr. Willie James Clark Jr., age 64, of 61 Garday Drive, Ashburn, Georgia, died Saturday, June 25th, at his residence in Ashburn, Georgia. Survivors include his beloved and devoted wife, Mrs. Kimberly Clark of Ashburn, Georgia, and a host of other relatives. Survives Mr. Willie James Clark Jr., age 64, of 611 Gorday Drive, Ashburn, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Willie James Clark Jr., age 64, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The J.W. Williams Funeral Directors, serving Cordele and Vienna, are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. And now for announcements. The New Poplar Spring Baptist Church of Byronville, Georgia, invites everyone to join them each Sunday at 9:45 a.m. in person or via conference call. The call-in number is 253-993-3761 for worship service. 253-993-3761 for worship service, and Wednesday at 6:30 a.m., 12 noon, and 7 p.m. The New Poplar Spring Baptist Church of Byronville, Georgia, invites everyone to join them each Sunday at 9:45 a.m. in person or via conference call. Pastor Teacher Johnny B. Dean, pastor, New Poplar Spring Baptist Church of Byronville, Georgia. Christ Chapel, Unadilla, Weekly Food Pantry, 400 Jeanette Street, Unadilla, Georgia, is open every Saturday from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. Christ Chapel, Unadilla, Weekly Food Pantry is open every Saturday from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. The Mount Moriah Baptist Church of Unadilla, Georgia, homecoming will be observed Sunday, July 3rd, along with morning worship at 11 a.m. Dinner will be served. Everyone is invited. Sister Linda Jordan, Mission President, Deacon Earl Jordan, Chairman of Deacons. The St. King Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with them each first and third Sunday at 8 a.m., hour of prayer service at 9 a.m., Sunday school at 10:15 a.m. Everyone is invited. The Reverend Woody Burnham, pastor. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church of Cordele conference call schedule Sunday morning at 10 a.m., prayer Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 noon, Bible study each Wednesday at 5 p.m. The call-in number is 339-209-6419, 339-209-6419. The Mount Zion First African Baptist Church conference call schedule Sunday morning at 10 a.m., prayer Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. Everyone is invited. Deacon Joe Wedges, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. Dan James III is the pastor. The Gethsemane Baptist Church invites everyone for worship service at 10:30 a.m. Everyone is invited. Mother Mary Butler, Church Mother, Deacon Johnny Wilson, Chairman of Deacons, and the Reverend Cecil Strawder, pastor. The Davis Chapel CME Church of Araby, Georgia, will have worship service each second and fourth Sundays at 10 a.m. Today at 10 a.m., face mask required. Brother Ruby Barrett, Chairman of Stewards, and the Reverend Arnell Werben, pastor. The New Oak Grove Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday. Sunday school at 9:15 a.m., worship service at 10 a.m. Face covering is required. Everyone is invited. Sister Letha Askew, church clerk and trustee, Deacon Alonzo Jones, chairman of deacons, and the Reverend W. Wilson, pastor. Inspired to Inspire by Minister Brenda Jones, the Pure in Heart Retreat will be Friday, July 15th through Sunday, July 17th at Little Oak Muggy State Park, 80 Live Oak Trail, Helena, Georgia. For more information and registration, please call Minister Brenda Jones at 229-406-5852. Minister Brenda Jones, 229-406-5852. Minister Brenda Jones, host. The Tridestone Bible Study Church, 402 Crawley Street, Americus, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them each Sunday at 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. Minister Ward, pastor. The McAfee Grove Baptist Church, Highway 19 North, Leesburg, Georgia, invites everyone to worship with them family nights, Tuesday at 7 p.m., small class study, Thursday at 7 p.m., Sunday morning worship at 9 a.m. Please join them by using the call-in code 425-436-6341. Again, 425-436-6341. The passcode is 708058. The passcode 708058. 425-436-6341. Passcode 708058. Dr. Robert L. Morgan, Sr., pastor, the McAfee Grove Baptist Church, Highway 19 North, Leesburg, Georgia. The M.D. White's Medical Institute, 401 North 15th Street, Cordele, Georgia, the former A.S. Clark School, will be conducting both Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccine on Wednesday and Friday from 10 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Vaccination shots for children for ages 5 to 12 are now being offered, as well as the booster. Walk-in visits are acceptable. Appointment not required. The M.D. White's Medical Institution will be conducting both Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccine on Wednesdays and Friday from 10 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Vaccination shots for children from age 5 to 12 are now being offered, as well as the booster. Dr. Matthew W. White's, M.D. Fort Valley State University, Chris County Head Start, and Early Head Start are now accepting applications for the 2022-2023 school year. If interested, please visit the Head Start Center located at 1110 South 12th Street, or the Early Head Start located at 615 West 15th Avenue to pick up an application or to discuss items needed for registration. If you should have any questions prior to your visit, feel free to contact Ms. Keandra Towns or Ms. Laquita Jenwright for Head Start at 229-276 229-276-9880. Miss Sheila Askew for early Head Start at 229-273-7452. 229-273-7452. Wilcox County Head Start is taking application. For more information, please call Ms. Donna Jenkins, Center Manager, at 229-365. Not enough numbers. 478-922-4464. Please call Ms. Donna Jenkins at 478-922-4464. You're invited to worship with the Great Amaris Tabernacle Baptist Church today, Sunday, the fourth Sunday in June. Conference call as scheduled. Sunday morning worship this morning at 9 a.m. Tuesday midday prayer conference at 12 noon. Thursday prayer meeting and Bible study at 6 p.m. The call-in number for the conference call is 229-329-7611. The call-in number for the conference call for the Great Amaris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church is 229-329-7611, or you may join by way of Facebook. Everyone is invited to attend. Deacon Tommy Ford, Vice Chairman of Deacons, Dr. K.M. Williams is the pastor. Friends, that conclude our announcements for this morning, and we pray that you would govern yourselves accordingly. And certainly at this time, I would like to personally thank everyone for the many kindnesses shown to myself and to my family during the passing of our beloved sister, Mrs. Mattie Mae Johnson, better known as Sister Girl. And I'd like to thank everyone for all of your kindness, your phone calls, your email, your texts, your potato pies, your chicken, and the whole 9 yards. Thank you, your cakes and all. Thank you so kindly for the many kindnesses shown to us. Your thoughtfulness will never be forgotten. And now for dedication. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: in loving memory of Mr. Kenneth B. Armstrong, who departed this life June 10th, 2019. Dedication requested by the Armstrong family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Albert Kendrick, who would have celebrated his birthday June 23rd. Dedication requested by his beloved family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Andrew Henry Jr., who departed this life on June 24th, 2016. Dedication requested by the entire family. Precious memory lingers still. In living memory of Mr. Steve Armstrong Sr., who departed this life June 24, 1976, and also in loving memory of Mr. Steve Armstrong Jr., who departed this life June 24, 2013. Dedication requested by the Armstrong family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of retired educator Ms. Donetta McEntee, who departed this life on June the 26th, 2020. Dedication requested by her beloved sister, Ms. Maddie McEntee Rogers, and the entire family. Gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Cleotis Davis, who departed this life June 26, 1993. Dedication requested by the Davis and Manning family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of retired educator Mrs. Jody Williams Harriel, who departed this life June 26, 2010. Dedication requested by the Williams, Mumphrey, and Harriel families, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of our beloved Mrs. Elizabeth Graham, better known to all of us as Big Mom, who departed this life on June the 26th, 2002. Dedication requested by her beloved daughter, Deaconess Martha Ann Crawls, and the entire Crawls, Graham, and Napa family, and her Greater Morris Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, her pastor, Dr. Kim Williams, Deacon Tommy Ford, and the entire membership, Paul, and to remember the life of our beloved Mrs. Elizabeth Graham, better known as Big Ma, served as church usher, church reporter for many years. Never will forget her, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of twins, our neighbor, Mr. Kerry and Mr. Corey Jones, who would have celebrated their birthday, June 27, dedication requested by their beloved mother, Mrs. Ann Rouse, and the entire family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of retired educator, the Reverend Frederick Harriel, who departed this life June 28, 2008. Dedication requested by the Harriel family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mr. Marvin Bridges, who would have celebrated his birthday June 29, dedication requested by the Bridges family, gone but not forgotten. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy birthday to Bishop George Westbrook, who celebrated his birthday Thursday, June 23rd. Dedication requested by his beloved wife, Minister Tronda Westbrook, his children, grandchildren, his beloved mother, Mother Martha Ruth Westbrook of Arabi, Georgia, and the entire Westbrook and Jackson family. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Miss Casey Harmon, who celebrated her birthday Thursday, June 23rd. Dedication requested by her beloved children, grandchildren, her mother, Mother Jessie Kate Harmon, and the entire Harmon family. Happy birthday to Miss Rizzy Wedges, who is celebrating her birthday today, June 26th. Dedication requested by Deacon Joe Wedges and the entire family. Happy birthday to Miss Ruthie Wedges, who is celebrating her birthday on Monday, June 27th. Dedication requested by the Wedges family. And happy birthday to our own Mr. Silas Ford, who will be celebrating his birthday Monday, June 27th. Dedication requested by his beloved children, grandchildren, and the entire family, and the members of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, his pastor, Dr. Kim Williams, Deacon Tommy Ford Jr., and the Brotherhood, and the entire membership says happy birthday to Brother Silas Ford on Monday, June 27. God bless you, Brother Ford, and many more. I guess I have to bake you some bread pudding squares then with a little raisin in it there. Happy birthday to Deacon Joe Wedges, Chairman Deacon of the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church, who will celebrate his birthday on Monday, June 27. Dedication requested by the Wedges family and the members of the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church, again where he serves as chairman of the Board of Deacons, Deacon Joe Wedges. Happy birthday to Mr. Lloyd Bridges, who will celebrate his birthday Thursday, June 30th. Dedication requested by the Bridges family. And happy birthday in loving memory, Ms. Gwendolyn Ann Armstrong Walker, who departed this life on June the 30th, 2016. Dedication requested by the Armstrong family. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: Deacon James Smith and family, Mrs. Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, the entire Leary and Carter family. Deacon and Mrs. Roger Westbrook, Chairman of the Board of Deacons of Pleasant Hill Baptist Church of Hatley, Georgia. Mr. Willie and Mrs. Francis Denard and family, Miss Ruby Denard and family, Deacon Charles Cooper and family, the Mabel and Johnson's family, Miss Mary Trahan and family, Ms. Nadine Carol Dempsey and family, Deacon Wayward Dempsey and family, Mrs. Shirley Epps and family, Ms. Val Carter and family, Miss Sarah Jackson and family, Mrs. Patricia White and family, Mr. Andrew Jackson and family, Mrs. Barbara Joe Jackson and family, Mr. Sean Hutchins and family, Mrs. Selma Jackson and family, Mr. F.D. Lawton and family, Mr. Leonard Williams and family, Ms. Lois Reynolds and family, missionary Irene Cantrell and family, Ms. Geraldine Perry and family, Mrs. Bernice Relaford and family, Miss Mary Wellens and family, the Bryant family, the Armstrong family, Mrs. Frances Relaford and family, Mrs. Shirley Faye Green and family, the Mobley family, Mrs. Lottie Tarbert and family, the Fullwood family, Mother Ethel Fullwood and family, Mrs. Jackie Lattimore and family, missionary Ola Mike and family, Mother McLaura McNeil and family, Mrs. Mary Frances Davis and family, Mrs. Katrina Davis and family, Miss Aisha Davis and family, Mrs. Shalandra Donaldson and family, Mr. Justine Colbert Jr. and family, Miss Thelma Brown and family, Miss Burrow Patrick and family, Miss Mary Taylor and family, Mother Willeen McGill and family, Miss Nebby Cross and family, Mr. Judge and Mrs. Tommy Glenn and family, Miss Lavetta Field and family, Miss Mashonda Holmes and family, Mr. Simon Feld and family, Miss Johnny Mae Sanders and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Keith Lewis and family, Mr. and Mrs. George Rocket and family, Mrs. Joe Black and the entire Black family of Vienna, Georgia, Mrs. Pamela Law and family, Mr. Harvey C. and family, Mother Blighty Bill and family, Mrs. Maddie West and family, Mr. and Mrs. John Leroy Perry and family, the Cantrell family, the Hardwick family, Miss Marie Felton and family, Deacon Johnny Perry and family, Mrs. Vera Perry and family, Mother Mary Benjamin and family, Mrs. Bobby Jean Vandro and family, Mrs. W.D. King and family, Miss Christine Kingdom and family, Mr. and Mrs. Purnell Lakeler and family, Dr. and Mrs. Thaddeus Lakeler and family, Mrs. Dorothy Lamar and family, Deacon Willie C. Kendrick and family, the Cleo Hoggerbrook family, Miss Presentia Woodson and family, Mrs. Rosa Cooper and family, Mrs. Lily Mae Perry and family, the Mike Hamilton family of Lily, Georgia, Mr. and Mrs. Emerson London family, the Granville family, Mr. Arthur Lawson and family, Mrs. Calvin Basket Jr. and family, Mr. Frank Thomas and family, Mr. and Mrs. Willie B. Barnes and family, Mrs. Molly Williams and family, Mrs. Shirley Green, Mrs. Shirley Jean Taylor and the entire Taylor family of Vienna, Georgia, Mrs. Evelyn Thomas and family, Mrs. G. Lundy and family, Miss Eunice Lewis and family, Mrs. Claudia Mae Dawson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Allman and family, Mr. Randall Lango and family, Mrs. Minnie Jewel Duhart and family, Mrs. Mary Lango Smith and family, Mr. and Mrs. Wayne Adams and family, Deacon and Mrs. Willis Sutton and family, Mrs. Nanny Lee Burks and family, Mr. Tommy Rogers and family, Mr. and Mrs. Willie Lee Taylor Sr. and family, the Crosby family, Deacon Chester Mike Williams and family, Mrs. Maddie Ruth King and family, Deacon and Mrs. Bruce Kendrick and family, Mr. Roger Duhart and family, Ms. Doris Duhart and family, Mrs. Nora Lee Adams and family. This selection goes out to my neighbor, Mother Theron Jones and family, the entire Jones and Talbert family. Mother Dorothy Tarbert and family. Mrs. Juanita Tarbert and family. Deacon and Mrs. John Stubbs and family. Our first selection this morning.
Somebody here knows you've been good. You done done something for somebody in this place tonight. I ain't gotta ask nobody to be good. I already know he's been good to me. And you know, I was just watching one of those programs on TV today when it says adopt a little child overseas, and then they show the little children up on the screen, and some is too big in one place and too little in another. Some dehydrated, can't even make tears to cry. Some malnutrition done sit in and they can't even stand up on their own little legs. And then when I think about how my children get up, go down in the kitchen and pick it and choose what they want to eat, I said, thank you! Go on and give it to him. Go on and give it to him. Whether you know it or not, we already owe it to him. For all those many years we went and didn't even stop to think about who was doing what. We owe it to him. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For my legs, thank you. For my feet, thank you. Somebody can't do this, thank you. Sometimes it look like the harder you try, the harder things get for you. And the same one you go all out of your way to try and help. You find out that's the one on the other side of town right now, already putting your name out on the highway and out on the hedges. But you know, when you already know somebody don't like you, it just don't bother you so bad when they do something mean to you. But the one that stand up in your face, the one that shake your hand with one hand, smile in your face and slap you in the back all at the same time. I don't know how it makes you feel, but sometimes it makes me feel like I want to just throw up my hands.
It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcement. Mr. Joe Louis Nelson, better known as Joe Simon, age 73, of 221 Main Street, Warwick, Georgia, died Tuesday, June 21st at his residence in Warwick, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Joe Louis Nelson, better known as Joe Simon, age 73, will be held Saturday, July 2nd at 10 a.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home Portico in Cordele, Georgia, with the minister selected officiating. The burial will follow at Shepherd Memorial Garden in Sylvester, Georgia. The public walk-up visitation will be Friday, July 1st from 1 until 5 p.m. at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Mrs. Annie Mae Lundy Wilkerson, age 70, of 1417 Norris Street, Americus, Georgia, died Friday, June 24th at the home of her beloved daughter in Savannah, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Annie Mae Lundy Wilkerson, age 70, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. Beloved retired educator, Mother Levy J. Rutland Wheeler, age 89, of 406 West 14th Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, June 25th at her residence in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for beloved educator retired Mother Levy J. Rutland Wheeler will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. Mr. Willie James Clark, Jr., age 64, 611 Gorday Street Drive, Ashburn, Georgia, died Saturday, June 25th at his residence in Ashburn, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Willie James Clark, Jr., age 64, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The J.W. Williams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our next and final selection for this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Mr. Ernest Colbert, Jr. of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Miss Jacqueline Denise Ford of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mother Annie Lee Williams Collins of Cordele, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family of Mr. Joe Louis Nelson of Warwick, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Annie Mae Lundy Wilkerson of Americus, Georgia. The family of beloved retired educator, Mother Levy J. Rutland Wheeler of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mr. Willie James Clark, Jr. of Ashburn, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to all of the sick and shut-in, to all patients in the local and surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and their devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in our armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, to my son, Jai Wilkerson Parker. This selection goes out to my mother-in-law, Miss Billy Ann Hall, and family, to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, to his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and their grandson, Noble. This selection goes out to my sister, Miss Patsy Jackson, and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson, who celebrated their birthday and wedding anniversary on yesterday with the pool party there. So happy birthday and anniversary, and hope to see you in church this morning after the pool party. This selection goes out to Mr. Cleveland R. Lemon, oldest staff member of the J.W. Williams Funeral Home. Mr. Cleveland R. Lemon and steward of the Bethel CME Church here in Cordele, Georgia. This selection goes out to Miss Willie Mae Crapp and family, Miss our beloved Miss Easter May Sanders and family, Mrs. Cheryl Cobb Henry and family, to Mother Janie Billingsley and family of DeSoto, Georgia, Deacon and Mrs. Lawrence Williams and family, Mother Mamie Robinson and family, Deacon Kelvin, Sister Rosemary Jones and family, Mother Elizabeth Waters, retired educator, Mother Alpine Sweet, and all of the members of the New Beulah Baptist Church and their pastor, Mr. Chris Perry and family. This selection goes out to my cousin, Deacon Emery Wright and family, and the entire Wright family of Albany and Lee County, Georgia. And again, to each and every one of you who listen in to our program on each Sunday morning, goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, program chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, our pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, pastor of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church and moderator of the Gum Creek Missionary Baptist Association. And again, teaching everyone, to you, Mother Mary Butler, and family, and to Mrs. Aletha Askew, church clerk and trustee of the Oak Grove Baptist Church, the Reverend Dion Jones and wife this morning. Again, to everyone, God bless you.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. Remember, in your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the J.W. Williams Funeral Home.